Hello everyone, it's Noel from Noel's Nook, and today we're doing a little bit of a DIY slash cheap art supply sort of challenge type of thing. So if you're like me and you had a classroom and you went through all of your markers and they're all dried out, well, what do you do with the markers? Do you just throw them out? Well, no. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tear the markers apart and make cheap watercolors. Now this is especially great if you're on a budget yourself, or if you're, like me, you're a preschool teacher and you don't have the funding for new art supplies. This is a really great way to not only upcycle art supplies that are perhaps, not able to be used anymore, but it's a great way to also just, get some more life out of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I like to make the watercolors. I already did a little bit over here, but we're gonna go over to this camera and I'll give you a little bit more of an explanation. All right, so first off, you're gonna need pliers. You're gonna need scissors, maybe. And then, I don't have the correct kind of pliers, and I also don't like to get my hands too dirty. And that's another thing. Do not do this with clothes that you are going to, want to wear again. That's why I'm wearing this horrendous, top that I'm wearing. So yeah, I'm just gonna do the three basic colors, the three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, because you can get pretty much any other color out of them. If you were going to store these in the long term, I would say put them in, say, some sort of a plastic container that has a lid, an airtight container. Since I'm just gonna throw these out, I'm just using these. They're just cut up, really roughly cut up plastic cups. And then of course, I'll show you how I do this. So I need a red. These are all very old, very, crazy markers. Now, not all markers are made the same way, but usually most markers have this end cap here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your pliers and really squeeze, and it should pop right off. And then in here, now that's the good stuff. This is where all the pigment is in a marker. Now, if you were going to try and save the markers, you could probably put a little bit of water in here and just hope for the best. I have not done that in my classroom since I really like to make the watercolors. It's actually really fun. You can actually keep this plastic part on. You can take it off, but like this floofy stuff, it goes everywhere, sort of. But I'm just gonna keep it on. It just makes things a lot easier. So we're just gonna put those in there. So now that you know how to do it, I'm gonna finish this off camera and then I'll come back to you in a second. I am not making a whole lot of watercolor because this is just gonna get thrown out. But what you wanna do is you want to add your water, but add it a little bit at a time. I'd say maybe no more than a tablespoon at a time. Because you want these little things, oh, listen to that, they're getting all squishy. You want them to soak the water, and you want them to start kind of letting out their pigment into it too. You see how that light blue one is like really starting to go? So you're gonna have to let them soak for a little bit. It shouldn't take that long. I couldn't really give you a time. Also, don't be afraid to mix certain like shades of the colors that you're using. I had like a bunch of different colored blues and I just put them all in one thing. They're just gonna make one whole uniform color. And it's gonna be interesting. I might add a little bit more. But don't add too much water though too, because you don't want to water down your watercolors that much, or else the final result won't be as pigmented when you actually start to paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and let these guys soak for a little bit and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back and these have been soaking for probably 10 to 15 minutes. I added one more marker to the blue just to give it a little bit more pigment, but I'm really liking how these look. They look pretty good. So, oh yeah, so I told you guys to store them in plastic containers or something. Why not use a tincture bottle? I was looking for my plastic tincture that that you could just like throw away, but I couldn't find it. So I had to wash my glass one. So you could actually, if you really wanted to store these long term, you could just do that, put them in a tincture bottle. You can get them rather cheaply online. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna suck up some of this red here. Wow, this thing does not suck. It sucks, but not very well. There we go. All right, I'm gonna put some in here. And then I'm gonna put some down the line for purple. This is like a really, not a very good tincture thing. Oh, there we go. I had to get some suction. So we have Roy G. Bev. There, and I'm just going to clean this out. There. All right, so I'm gonna do this in time lapse for the rest of them. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so here's our colors all made up. Purple's looking a little bit lacking, but we're gonna try them out. Because I'm sure purple and orange are gonna be the hardest to judge, at least for my eye. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a cheap watercolor-ish brush. It's not really watercolor, it's just a brush I've had laying around. All right, so here's red. And this is just dry watercolor paper. It's nothing special. It is cold press. And we're just gonna see how that looks. Ooh, interesting. So that's red. This is our orange. Loading up the brush. Okay, all right, it's not too bad. It could probably use a little bit more yellow. Or less red, either one. Probably less red. But that doesn't look too bad. Next is the yellow. Looks very yellow. And then green. Have to mix that up a little bit. Cool. And this works with pretty much any brand of water-based marker. I would not try this with alcohol-based markers. Unless you were soaking them in alcohol. Now, I really don't know because I haven't really had the opportunity to have any dried out alcohol-based markers. I feel like they're so expensive you wouldn't want to use this technique with them. But certainly maybe one day that is something we can try. All right, and the last one is the purple. The purple that I think looks not purple. You know what? I'm gonna add a little bit more blue to this because it doesn't look very, that does not look purple. It looks more maroon or something. Oh, okay. Might be purple now. Let's check. Ooh, oh, ew. Okay, look at this, look at this. It's black. How did that happen? Wow, that is actually really interesting. No way. What? Okay, let's try this again. Hold on. All right, we're gonna put red and blue. Is that just too much? What went wrong? That looks, look at that. That looks not purple. I guess I don't know what I'm expecting. But look at this, that looks cool. So I don't know, I don't know guys, maybe you should just use purple markers if you're going to make purple. The rest of them turned out really well, but that is just a very strange combination. All right, we're going to pull it back here and we're going to say goodbye. Well, that was kind of a surprise now, wasn't it? I did not expect my purple to turn black. Now, of course, if you really wanted to become serious as a watercolorist, you would probably want to invest in better watercolors, but if watercolor is not something you're comfortable with at the moment, go ahead and try this out if you have any markers laying around. That would be a really great way for you to get your feet wet, for you to try some techniques out. And then, you know, if you really feel comfortable with watercolor, then go ahead and dive into whatever medium that you like to use. Personally, watercolor pencils are my favorite. But yeah, this is a really great way for somebody to get started in watercoloring, especially if you're, you know, you have little ones running around. So, thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I give you my fondest wishes and have an awesome day. Bye. I'm gonna play around with these some more. These were really fun.